Hi everyone, and welcome to our informational webinar, How to Apply to Teach in the USA with EPI. So my name is Jessica and I work as the content specialist for EPI. I'm from the mountains of North Carolina, and before working for EPI, I taught English at the community college level. And I'm really excited to work for a place that combines my passion for education with my passion for cultural exchange. Today, we will be talking about EPI's application process, and we're also going to answer any questions that you might have about it. You can use the comment box to ask us your question, and at the end of our presentation, we will answer any comments that you have left there. So today we will be talking about how to apply to teach in the U.S. with Educational Partners International. During this webinar, we will be going over how to start your application and what documents you will need for it. We will also explain the purpose of the application and give you some tips that will help it go as quickly as possible. So if you're joining us for the first time, we are Educational Partners International, or EPI for short, and we are a cultural exchange program that brings international teachers to teach in K-12 schools in the United States. Our mission is to bring some of the best teachers from around the world to come to the U.S. to share their cultural experiences. As you can read here, our goal is to strengthen K-12 education by discovering and empowering the world's best international teachers in order to facilitate authentic cultural exchange. The results include teachers and students that become lifelong learners, embrace 21st century skills, and serve as change agents in an interconnected world of global understanding. So while we work with schools across the southern United States, our personal home office is in North Carolina, which is about where the arrow indicates on the map there. We would love to know more about you too, so please go ahead and tell us where you're from in the comments as well. So now that you have some background on who we are, it's important to understand the basics of EPI's process. So our process for bringing teachers like you to the United States looks something like this. First, you complete an application so that we know that you are eligible for our program and will be a strong candidate for cultural exchange in the United States. The application process includes filling out a thorough online form, uploading official documents, and 2 interviews with EPI team members. After you've completed the application process, you are moved to the approved stage where you will interview with one of our partnered schools. Once you've completed a successful school interview, you are placed in the school and become an official EPI program member. So let's take a closer look at the first step in that process, which is the application. So EPI's application process is very thorough, but it does a few important things for you. First, filling out the application creates a professional profile for schools to look at when they are considering teachers for interviews. We also use the information you provide on the application to decide whether or not you meet our eligibility requirements. So on the screen here, we have some of the requirements for being an EPI teacher. You must be currently teaching, you must have at least 2 years full-time teaching experience, and you must have the equivalent of a U.S. bachelor's degree. Finally, the application helps you collect the documents that you will need to get a visa, travel to the United States, and get a teaching license. Okay, so now that you know more about EPI and our requirements, and you've decided that you want to start your application, the next question is, how do you get started? So the first step is to go to our website, teachwithepi.com/teachers. Once you are there, you will scroll down until you see the big orange button that says, click here to apply. You will click that button and then answer some questions about your eligibility. After you answer the questions and click submit, you will need to make an account with your email address, and then you'll be able to start your application. Once you start your application, it is really important that you First, complete your personal and professional profile as soon as possible so that you can quickly move to the next stage in the application process. So as we've mentioned, EPI's application does require some documentation to be sure that you are able to travel and teach in the United States. So what documents will you need to complete your application? Here we have a list of most of the documents you will need to upload before you're eligible for school interviews. We ask for copies of all pages of your passport, diploma, transcripts, criminal background checks, proof of employment, and a credential evaluation from an NACES approved company. If you have a valid driver's license and wish to drive while you're in the United States, we will ask for a copy of your driver's license, but driving is not a requirement for the program. When you first get on the website and start your application, you need to prioritize uploading the passport pages, diplomas, and transcripts, because these are the documents we need to see before we can invite you for interviews with EPI team members. So while we're talking about documents, it's important to know that the only place you should ever upload these documents is to the official EPI website. So please only upload your documents to teachwithepi.com. To protect your privacy, you should never upload any of your documents to Facebook. EPI will not accept any of your documents through Facebook. So one of the most common questions our candidates ask about the application process is, how long does it take? As we've already stated, the application process includes processing all of your documents and 2 interviews with the EPI team members, which means how long the process takes often depends on how quickly you can collect and upload all of the appropriate documents. So here are some tips on what you can do personally to make sure the application process goes as quickly and smoothly as possible. First, be sure to read all of our requirements before you apply. You can find our requirements at teachwithepi.com/teacher requirements. When completing the application, you will need to be sure to read and follow all directions on the application carefully. You will also want to proofread all answers on your application, as any typos or mistakes made with spelling can make the process take longer. Finally, you will need to make sure to create your account with a valid email address and to check that email regularly. EPI will only be able to discuss your application through email, so it's important that you are looking for emails from EPI about your application status. So now it's time for questions. I'll be answering any questions that you have left in the comments. So if you've not yet submitted your questions, please ask them now. We invite you to also tell us about yourself. We would love to know what you are currently teaching and where you are from. It looks like we have already heard from teachers from Cameroon, Jamaica, Zambia, the Philippines, and Argentina today. So wherever you're joining us from, thank you for being here today. So our first question for today is, do you accept part-time teachers? And then another question that's kind of similar is, do you accept online teachers? So the short answer to those questions is no. And to give you some more information about why we don't do that, EPI is a cultural exchange program, so it's really important for us that the American students get the experience of having an international teacher in the classroom full-time to really facilitate that cultural exchange experience. And then also, we want our teachers to really experience American culture. So being in the classroom full-time, living in the United States is the best way to do that. So all of our teachers are living in the United States, teaching full-time. Okay, our next question is, what subjects are you looking for? And it looks like we've had specific questions about special education and physical education. So the answer is that we place all subjects that we teach in American K-12 schools. So that means that we do place special education teachers and physical education teachers. We're also looking for English teachers, science teachers, math teachers, art teachers, music teachers, home ec teachers. Any subject that we teach in the US, we're looking for it. Okay, so our next question is, do you require a driver's license? So I touched on this earlier. No, we do not require a driver's license to participate in the program. If you have a driver's license and want to teach in the United States, we do ask that you upload that to your application at teachwithepi.com. Our next question is, what grade levels are you looking for? So we place teachers in grades kindergarten through 12th grade, which are approximately ages 5 to 18. Our next question is, what is the deadline to apply? We get this question a lot. So EPI has a rolling deadline, which means that there is no definitive time that you need to complete your documents by, but we encourage you to apply as soon as possible and get those documents uploaded as soon as possible, because the sooner that you finish your application, the more likely you are to get placed in a school. Our next question is there an application fee? No, EPI does not charge an application fee. Another question we get a lot is about placement fees, and we don't charge placement fees either. So we don't charge placement or application fees, but as you notice in that list of documents, some of those documents do cost money for you to get, usually, such as transcripts, diplomas, credential evaluation, certified translations, and you will be responsible for paying for those documents on your own, but EPI will never charge you an application or a placement fee. All right, and our next question is there an age limit? This is another question that we get a lot. So no, there is no age limit. Regardless of how old or young you are, if you meet those basic eligibility requirements we talked about, you can start your application at teachwithepi.com. Okay, and our last question for today is, how can I restart my application? So throughout the application process, you may choose to put it on hold, to pause it, because you need to work on getting some of the documents, or we may choose to pause the application for whatever reason. And if that happens and you want to start your application again, the best thing to do is to always email us at team@teachwithepi.com. I'll say that one more time. It's team@teachwithepi.com. And then we will give you more information about your application status and what you can do to take it off of hold. Okay, so it looks like that's our last question for today. If you did not get to ask your question, please take the time to go ahead and leave it in the comments. We are going to answer all remaining questions in the comments after the broadcast is over. Okay, so now that you know more about how to apply, let's talk about next steps in the application, or next steps from here. After you watch this webinar, what are you going to do? First, if you have not yet applied, go to teachwithepi.com and start the application process. If you've started the application but have questions about how to continue, email us at team@teachwithepi.com with your questions. Finally, please go to teachwithepi.com/webinars to sign up for our future webinars and to watch all of our previous videos. So to finish off our presentation today, I would like to leave you with this quote as a reminder of why cultural exchange is so important and why we are so eager to bring teachers like you to the U.S. J. William Fulbright was a U.S. Senator and the founder of the Fulbright Program. He said, "The essence of intercultural education is the acquisition of empathy, the ability to see the world as others see it, and to allow for the possibility that others may see something that we have yet failed to see or may see it more accurately." Here at EPI, we are dedicated to helping teachers like you come to the U.S. so that we may learn from each other's unique perspectives, just like Fulbright talks about here. Okay, so that's all for today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any further questions, email us at team@teachwithepi.com. Also, be sure to sign up for our webinar mailing list at teachwithepi.com/webinars. On behalf of everyone at EPI, thank you for joining us and have a good day, everybody.